What's up, guys? We back with another banger here. I said my other video got 1 like. I was gonna post another one. It got 1 like, so we gonna post another one. I love the support. I didn't even think I was gonna get that much support. It got like 200 views. That's a lot. Only got 131 subscribers. I really appreciate that. So today we're gonna react to this mother. I guess she got bitten half by a shark. That's sad, but she had quadruples too. That's even crazy. But I hope y'all like that. Go ahead. I got a link to my link tree. Join all my socials. Join my Discord so we can go ahead and get some interviews in there. We get enough people in there. We do some interviews in there. But go ahead and do all that. Let's get to the video.
A mother of 5 scuba diving with seals and sea lions is targeted by a massive great white shark. With her children and husband watching her float on the surface from the boat, the shark leaps out of the water with her mother and wife in its jaws, biting her in half. Hit that like button and subscribe right now. This is the terrifying great white shark attack on Therese Cartwright. Welcome to Final Affliction. Therese and Ian Cartwright loved the ocean. Fishing, kayaking, and snorkeling were some of their favorite pastimes. They'd been doing one activity or another centered around the sea since they started dating in their early 20s, and it was a habit they kept up all throughout their marriage. After having their first baby, Therese took nearly a year off from water activities after their son was born, and her next pregnancy required an even longer hiatus from her beloved waves because Therese and Ian soon found out that they were going to be parents of quadruplets. With all those babies to carry, Therese couldn't even
To be a mother of some quadruplets is crazy. You know how big your stomach finna be? Like, that's a blessing, but girl, your stomach finna be big.
float in the shallows. She was just too heavy and uncomfortable to even try. And when the 4 new little Cartwrights finally arrived, keeping 4 busy babies occupied kept Therese out of the fun for 2 more years. The little Cartwrights were being raised to love the water just as much as their parents, and soon they were paddling the water with their arm floaties alongside their big brother too. The family trip that took place in June of 1993, when Therese was 34 years old, was a little different though. She hadn't gone snorkeling outside of short outings along the coastline every now and then, and she'd been itching to make a day of it for years now. While their eldest son decided to stay behind to visit his grandparents for the week, the rest of the Cartwrights went on a week-long holiday with 2 of Ian's work colleagues and another family friend along for the ride. They rented a motorized boat and decided to spend that first day on Barrenjoey Island, right off the coast of Tasmania, scuba diving in the midst of seal and sea lion colonies. The quads were 6 years old, so they were at least content to stay safely on the boat while the grown-ups took turns going into the water so that there was at least one adult with the children at all times. Everyone knew, even back in 1993, that diving amongst a pack of seals, as fun as it can also be incredibly dangerous. Seals and sea lions aren't much of a danger to humans. If anything, their underwater acrobatics and playful natures make them the perfect sea mammals to view up close for divers. It's the predators that are drawn to them. That's the problem. Sharks of all kinds follow colonies like moths.
That's common sense. You signed up for that. I ain't gonna lie. You swimming with all of them, they don't give a fuck. Your ass getting munched on.
To a flame. Hammerheads, tigers, and the fearsome great white can almost always be seen somewhere in the vicinity. Since the mammals are so numerous and they congregate in pockets where schools of fish are moving through, there's usually so much going on that the predators are much more likely to go for the seals, their natural prey, than they are to bother with the humans that swim and dive in shallow water where they can't hunt as comfortably. Unfortunately, a human in a dark wetsuit and a sea lion don't look that much different from one another from a distance. It just takes one unlucky human being in the wrong place at the wrong time for a predator to target the wrong species. Sure enough, the morning started out great. Ian took to the water first, where he and the other 3 men had a grand time snorkeling amongst the rocky underwater outcrops, and there were plenty of curious seals that made an appearance to observe the strange humans in their waters. Some of them came so close that the divers could have touched them if they wanted to. After 2 hours, just a little before 10 that morning, Ian and one of his colleagues got out of the water to relieve Therese, where she'd been setting out lunchboxes and toys for the quads so that they could keep themselves busy, but they weren't very interested in their toys. They made a game of watching the leaping sea lions, hanging out by the railings where Ian had to keep a hand close to their puffy little jackets in case they slipped and fell. The other 2 men were still in the water, weaving in and out, having their own little game to see who could collect the most mussels from the rocks beneath. Therese got in, strapped her goggles on, and spent the first few minutes floating topside with her face down.
I ain't gonna lie, hold up. What type of games they were playing? What?
Watching the darting animals in the 30-foot deep water below her. It was those few minutes that she took to acclimate to the water, which was the biggest mistake that Teresa could have made. The 15-foot great white shark that had been stalking in the background was waiting for just such a moment. Under the water, sea lions and seals were incredibly fast, so sharks don't bother targeting them as the mammals are hunting. It's when a seal floats on the surface of the water to take a moment to catch its breath and rest from expending all of its energy catching fish that they normally strike. To the predator, Therese looked just like any other seal. She was still for just long enough that it bolted out of the deep, gunning straight for Therese's lazily floating figure. Therese just saw the 2 sea lions below her shoot off into the water without realizing that they were fleeing for their lives and that this was not just another one of their aquatic games. With no warning and no sense of her doom streaking toward her, the shark snapped its jaws around the soft tissue of Therese's waist. It came with such great speed that they were both catapulted out of the water, breaking the surface in an almost graceful arc, leaving a trail in the air of red spray and ribbons of torn intestines. When they struck the water at the end of their arc, the force was so great that the animal's teeth slammed right through Therese, taking most of her abdomen in one single swallow. Therese had a fleeting moment of terror, a jab of pain, and then it was all dark. She died almost instantly, torn in half. The trauma to her body was just too great. In an instant, most of her internal organs were gone, swallowed up by the beast, and more than half.
Whoa, bro, imagine dying like that. Like, bro, somebody actually died like that. Like, this is real. Like, that's crazy. Like, imagine dying like that. Like, that is actually wild. Like, that's crazy.
Half of her body's blood was dumped out. Ian and the twins stared open-mouthed. It had happened so quickly that they hadn't comprehended what took place immediately. But then all hell broke loose. One of the children started to scream. Another clawed at his father, trying to launch his tiny little body into the current to save his mommy. Ian, screaming for help, could only try to hold on to his children, keeping them from jumping into the water themselves. His colleagues below were still preoccupied with their game. They hadn't even realized that there was literal murder happening above their heads. And his other colleague just stared, catatonic and completely dumbfounded at the horrific scene that played out before him. Teresa's legs were bobbing a few feet away from the boat, while her upper torso began to sink under the waves. The shark circled around and grabbed up Teresa's torso just as she was about to submerge completely. And also, at the same time that the divers from below surfaced, they saw the crimson water, the macabre sight of 2 legs floating beside them, and they even caught a glimpse of Teresa's brown hair poking out of the gigantic shark's mouth just before it disappeared again. It wasn't hard to put the pieces together after such a sight. Dropping their muscles, they made a dash for the boat, scrambling to get to safety. Each man grabbed one of the flailing children before Ian lost his grip on his hysterical babies and yelled for the third man to get the boat in gear and drive. The reality was clear. Therese was dead. They needed to get out before one of the children landed in the water themselves, and if they were quick enough to get to the authorities, there might be something of the mother of 5 left to bring back home. With one last look over their shoulders, they saw the 15-foot beast rear out of the water for a third time, this time going for the pair of legs that were still attached to the shattered hip bones. They didn't stick around long enough to see whether or not the shark had gotten all of Therese. As they headed towards safety, they radioed for the Coast Guard and met the search team on the beach. But authorities didn't have an easy job of locating the rest of Therese. Besides a single leg floating on the surface, there was no safe way to send divers down to look for anything else. It wasn't just that single shark out there that had eaten the young mother. There were other carnivores feeding on the sea lions and seals too, and the blood and carnage wafted into the deep ocean, drawing all sorts of sharks to the area. And when they saw a pack of orcas in the area, all attempts to look any further were abandoned. It was just too dangerous to even sail on the water now, let alone expect divers to go down. No, the Cartwrights had no choice but to live the rest of their lives with the trauma of seeing their wife, mother, and friend quite literally ripped in half in front of their very eyes. They will never forget the day they witnessed Therese's horrifying final affliction.
Well, guys, I hope y'all liked that video. Like and subscribe. But this can get 3 likes. We're going to post another video. But yeah, that's the end of it, guys. I appreciate y'all. I love the support. I love everything that y'all doing for me. Last video I got like 230 likes. If this video can, not 230 likes, views. This video could just get like, what, 2 likes. I asked for 1 like. We got 8. I just want 2 likes on this one. We get 2 likes on this one, we'll post another Final Affliction reaction. But I still need to post a finished reaction. Thanks for the love and support. Y'all join my Discord, because we get some more people in my Discord. We can do some interviews or something in there, get something going in there. But love y'all. Like and subscribe. You have a blessed day. We out.